I think we forget we have inherited a corrupted image.
Hmm.
What we need is a renewed image.
Hmm.
And that is what the Spirit is doing within us. Now, that's not common to everybody. That is only for God's people that can claim to have
Hmm.
a renewed image of God. And that is what the Spirit of God is doing within us. He is renewing our image from day to day to conform ever more so to the image of Christ, of the Son of God. And that is what the Spirit is doing within us. Now we'll see that manifest in the way that our hearts are transformed in our desires, the way that we live our lives. Um, and that is what we are doing. There's no doubt of that. But it is the Lord who has freed us from the power of sin so that we can now do these things. Before we didn't even desire it, but now we do. In other words, it's better to struggle
Hmm.
to want to grow in holiness than not desire that at all. That's by far worse situation. So yeah, it's a struggle, but the struggle is a blessing in a sense because now you desire to want to be something that you weren't before.
Hmm.
Amen.
That's good.
It's a beautiful struggle.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. I mean, it's
Um,
odd. We don't like struggling. We don't like pain and suffering, but
Yeah.
in one sense, the alternative is by far worse.
Yeah.
mhm. Providentially, this reminds me of a conversation I had just yesterday with a new believer that I've been kind of walking with a little bit, and he was talking about struggling with sin after becoming a believer, and just a reminder to him
Like, welcome to the Christian life. Yeah.
yeah, he's
Indeed.
like, this is tough. And I was like, yeah, Jesus calls us to take up our cross and follow him and dying to sin daily, which just those things remind me of sanctification.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think there's a lot of a you know, you need to die to sin. In other words, to grow in holiness also means dying to that which is unholy or non-holy, or even hating that which is not holy. And that seems to be two sides of the same kind of sanctification
Yeah.
coin. To love God and to grow in love for God means rejecting the world and removing all the things of the flesh, and that's tricky. And as your new believer friend is struggling with or is realizing that this is just a lifetime goal here,
Hmm.
and but yes, this is the Christian life. It is a high demand to grow in holiness. I don't think we want to water that down. That
No.
the standard is God Himself. It is Christ Himself. We're never going to reach it, but that doesn't mean the standard is not there. We are and in fact, ultimately, the Lord will transform us into glorified humanity to reach that state. But right now, we are just called to live as in by faith, trusting the Lord to conform to that as best as we are able. But we have to remember that our obedience is not the grounds upon which we are saved
Yep.
or even justified. And that's so
Hmm.
important to keep in mind. You are just now, you are saved now, given the fact that you are saved and that you will never lose it, given the fact that you are just and declared just and you will never lose that, given the fact that this is who you are, this is what God has done in you, therefore there is no condemnation in you, given all of that, now live your Christian life. But
Hmm.
you can do that now without the fear of condemnation because that is what we are freed of in our justification. Now we are called to live in conformity in our sanctification. But it's that liberation from the fear of condemnation that's so important, you see. And I think it makes a world of difference. You can call to live your life now, and you do the best you can. You'll take a step backward or two occasionally, and make a step forward or two, but ultimately that's not going to have any bearing on your salvation. You see,
Mhm.
but the desire is there, the heart passion is there to want to conform to the image, and that is what's important.